Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cash Flow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. Today we are going to be all over the place here, okay? Because I'm going to be talking about resources from blogs, books, and other websites, okay? So these are the best resources that have helped me achieve financial independence in my 20s, and I know that they can help you as well. I'm going to try to roll through these resources pretty quickly here because I know that anything with a list of 10, I usually take a long time to do it. So let's try to roll through here really quickly. Number one, the biggest influence possibly for me early on for achieving financial independence was a blog, and that blog back in 2013 was Mr. Money Mustache. Mr. Money Mustache's blog really got me started on how financial independence and how early retirement is possible for pretty much anyone and how the math works out. Very specifically, one of the most influential things for many people in the FIRE community, myself included, was his very short article on the shockingly simple math of early retirement. So if you've never seen that, you definitely need to look at that because that is like one of the biggest starting points for many people, especially in my age group around that time frame to achieve financial independence, to look towards this kind of FIRE lifestyle. Resource number two is a book that I want to mention here, and it's very influential in the FIRE community, the book of Your Money or Your Life, which I think was actually published back in the 90s, but has since been revisited and revised by the original author. But really, this book just changed how I looked at money and how I looked at earning money, as more specifically if going to work and how to calculate how much money you're really making from work. What is your net effect? How much are you really getting out of it? So it just really changed my overall look on how money is treated, especially if you are working for money, like directly for money. One of the most important takeaways for me from that book, Your Money or Your Life, is that money is your life energy if you are working for money. So don't waste money if you are working for money because you are just wasting your life energy. Resource number three is an online tool that I love to use all the time on this channel to illustrate financial independence, and that is the Networthify Calculator. Okay, Networthify really just simplifies and lets you look at how effective a savings rate is going to be for achieving financial independence and just achieving retirement. How much you save of your income, what percentage of your income you are able to invest is going to make a huge difference in how early you can retire. And so Networthify really just displays that really well for anyone to see, and that's why I always use it on this channel. The illustration on Networthify was the reason why at one point in my life I was saving 70% of my income. One of the most important reasons why I was able to achieve financial independence in my 20s was because I was tracking my progress and it was motivating me along the entire way. And I'm going to talk more about that towards the end, so make sure you stay tuned. The next resource that I want to talk about right now is another blog that was heavily influential for me, and that is the Mad Fienist or Mad Fienist. I still don't know how you say it to this day. F.I.R.E. Mad Fienist. Anyway, however you say it, the Mad Fienist blog has heavily influenced how I look at financial independence and specifically with taxes, on how taxes are a huge drag on your journey to achieving financial independence. And so if you can control your tax rate, and specifically if you can substantially control your tax rate and get it to zero in many circumstances, it can excel your progress to financial independence because the taxes represent one of your largest expenses, especially if you're making a median income or above. He really led me on to tax optimization, and that's still very influential for me today on how I achieve financial independence and how I teach others to achieve financial independence. And perhaps one of the biggest things I got from that blog is the concept of the Roth IRA ladder. Okay, the Roth IRA ladder was, once I discovered that is how I wanted to achieve financial independence. That is how I designed my plan for financial independence. And I just see it as a no-brainer for most people to try and pursue the Roth IRA ladder if they want to achieve financial independence at a younger age, and if they want to do it in a very tax optimized way. Next up at number 5, I have a general principles book here, and that is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Many people have read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but the concepts and what it just teaches in the story, like the overall lesson, it is so powerful. Even though the book itself doesn't have I think very specific actionable steps for anyone to take, it has been so influential in my life and many other people's life as well. Just the concepts illustrated in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book of, not working directly for money, the rich versus how the poor mindset and things like that. So it's a very good book actually for financial independence and people who are just pursuing a different kind of lifestyle. It doesn't directly interplay with how financial independence, retire early is structured in a traditional sense, but it is really good also those concepts of how to look at money. And one of the most biggest parts that have impacted my life is how I look at home ownership from that book. So home ownership saying, hey, your house is not an asset, it is a liability. Just because it has a value attached to it, is it putting money in or out of your pocket? That determines whether it's an asset or a liability possibilities. So that alone really changed my outlook on investments, how I looked at, personal belongings and all kinds of different stuff. So definitely highly recommend that book as well. Another huge thing that changed how I look at the world is the YouTube algorithm. And because the YouTube algorithm really wants you to like this video. Please like this video if you're enjoying it so far. I really appreciate that. And so with the YouTube algorithm, because the more videos that you like on here, the better that it's going to learn that it needs to recommend you all of my videos. And trust me, you should probably watch a lot of my videos because I think that both of us can benefit greatly from it. But up next at number 6, a really great tool, a website, like a tool that I use is FireCalc. FireCalc, Fire Calculator, get it? Financial Independence Retire Early Calculator. FireCalc is a really great tool because it helps illustrate how, based on historical data, how much percentage of success that you're going to have. And you can also manipulate the data in many different ways and try to run different scenarios on how you want your financial independence to look like. FireCalc allows you to do that based on historical stock market data. And it is a really cool and powerful tool for planning financial independence and for just planning retirement in general. FireCalc really let me understand that the 4% safe withdrawal rule, it really is a worst case scenario. And if you can remain flexible, like even a little bit flexible in your plan, then you really don't have much to worry about. Psychologically you will worry, but in reality you probably don't have to worry if you are following the 4% rule and you're just, also adjusting for market downturns and market fluctuations. So FireCalc really, helps put those terms onto paper and it lets you see and it really illustrates that very well for you. So I definitely recommend that you play around with FireCalc when you're developing your financial independence plan. And then we have number 7, and we're going back to the blogs here. And one of the very influential blogs for me was JLCollins's blog, JLCollinsNH.com. And I believe the NH just stands for New Hampshire, where he lives. But JLCollins blog, especially his stock series, it's just a series of blog posts, just basically explaining how to invest. And it makes it very, very simple. And then he's gone on to make a book called The Simple Path to Wealth, which I've also read. And I would highly recommend that a lot of people read that book as well. But JLCollins really shaped how I invest, how my investment portfolio looks, why simple is better, why index funds are the best, and all these kinds of different things. So that's definitely why his blog made it onto my top financial resources. Next up at number 8, we're going back to the books here, and number 8 is the 4-Hour Workweek. The 4-Hour Workweek really let me change my worldview on how so much is possible, just utilizing the big world that is around us. It really opened up geographic arbitrage to me and how there are different prices in different places, and you can have higher quality of life on the same amount of spending in different places. So me personally, I did do geographic arbitrage when I moved from a high cost of living area in Southern California to a low cost of living area in Tennessee. And that was my form of local geographic arbitrage. It wasn't really any kind of local because the distance and mileage is very far, but it's still located within the United States. The 4-Hour Workweek opened me up to geographic arbitrage around the world. It opened me up to working online. It opened me up to all of these possibilities and how the traditional 9-to-5, office cubicle job is not the only way. There are other paths in life that you can take, and it's actually relatively easy to do so. Another thing that is relatively easy to do so is leave a comment on this video. I want to know from you in the comments below, what other financial resources are there out there for financial independence that you think are super important and that can really help out a lot of people? If you have some other kind of resources, please leave me a comment below so that I can look at it and so other people can look at it as well. But moving on to number 9 on my list, I only have one podcast on here, and that's because early on in my life, I didn't actually listen to podcasts, but in the past few years, I have gotten a lot into podcasts, and I listen to podcasts pretty much every day now. And the most influential podcast for me was the ChooseFI podcast. I've listened to many of the podcasts, and I started from the very beginning, and I worked my way up through almost all of them. I haven't done every single podcast on there, but I listened to a lot of podcast episodes from the ChooseFI podcast. That was definitely the most influential podcast for me when it comes to financial independence, because it was one of the first podcasts that I actually got into. And one of the most influential things from that podcast, believe it or not, that it got me into is credit card hacking or credit card travel rewards. I really got into travel credit card rewards after listening to the ChooseFI podcast. I knew about it before that, but I never took action on it before. But since listening to that podcast, travel hacking has become a really big part of my life, and it is amazing. It saves me literally thousands of dollars per year in travel. Last but certainly not least, I hinted to it earlier in the video, number 10 is tracking my progress. And the tool that I have used to track my progress along the way has been Personal Capital. And that's because Personal Capital, you can link up all of your accounts in one place. You can link up your bank accounts, you can link up your investment accounts. If you have any loan accounts, you can link those up as well. And if there's something that doesn't link up, you can add it manually. So Personal Capital allows you to aggregate, like put all of your accounts in one place. And then it also has really cool tools for you, especially looking at your investments, looking at your asset allocation, what kind of sectors you're invested in, what your fees are, and all kinds of cool stuff when it comes to your investments. Linking up Personal Capital and tracking my net worth on there and tracking my progress when it comes to my investments has been pivotal for me to achieve financial independence in my 20s. If you don't have any kind of tracking system going on here with your investments, then I definitely highly recommend that you set up a tracking system, because that is probably one of the best things that's going to keep you motivated on your path to financial independence, is seeing your progress and seeing what is going on with your investments. Now, I don't recommend that you look at this kind of stuff every single day, but periodically, just looking at it like, once a month, every quarter or something like that. I think it is perfect to keep you motivated and to keep you on the path to financial independence. And if you specifically want to try out Personal Capital, it is free to try it out, to link your accounts and to see how it works. You can go to oncashflow.com/PC, okay, and that's going to redirect you. That is an affiliate link of mine, which means I might possibly get paid if you link up your accounts on there. It doesn't cost you anything to link your accounts on there. The platform does offer wealth management, like from a personal financial advisor, but I personally don't use those services, and I would highly recommend that you manage your finances yourself. But I do love the free online tools that they offer for managing your own investments. Oncashflow.com/PC, I would really appreciate that if you would check it out and sign up. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from oncashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.